Good morning. Today is Friday, the 18th day of Iyar, and it is Lag BaOmer, the big celebration of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Very special day indeed to learn the Chassidus. That's a day that we rejoice with the simcha of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Although we did hear some terrible tragedy that happened last night at the place when they came to celebrate in Miron by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. We don't know God's ways. We can only pray that from the darkness which will come out into the light. Certainly everything that happens, the Rebbe says, the Torah teaches us that whatever happens, we must take a lesson, and we cannot just bypass it and just ignore it. So we should always let's realize that this is from Hashem, and we take the lesson, but in the same time we continue with the simcha, with the joy, and here with the learning of the Torah and the Pnimiyas Torah. When we go in the Pnimiyas Torah, we'll be able to bring out, to reveal the goodness that is hiding inside. We need to see everything. Hashem should show us everything with kindness, as the Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai himself says in the Zohar. Now, today we're starting chapter 49 in the Tanya, and it is a way also connected with the day of Lag BaOmer where Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, we know he lived in a different realm, a different plane, in a spiritual plane. He was 13 years in the cave studying the Torah, being revealed all the secrets of the Torah. First he was 12 years, and then when he came out after 12 years, he couldn't understand how people leave their work serving God, spiritual work, and they deal with material work, with the material world's material needs. And after whatever he said caused a negative effect, that people died because of that, Hashem, the voice from heaven, came and said, go back to the cave. And it was there for another year. And after another year that he was there, he was able not only to understand, but he was able to cure and help people in this physical world. So what does that mean? That means that ultimately Hashem wants us here in this physical world. And here in this physical world, we can fulfill God's will, dealing with the material needs. But in the same time, the way we do it is by finding what is our real purpose. Our real purpose is to be connected with Hashem. So the Alter Rebbe explained how one of the ways of getting there is that by realizing how Hashem condenses and contracts his light, and he puts everything aside, and he comes down, and he cares for us right here in this world. So this is an act of love that Hashem shows to us. And in last chapter, he explained and he expanded on the fact that Hashem, for God to create us, if it would be essentially is light itself, but without contraction, we wouldn't be existing. And in this chapter, the Alter Rebbe continues in explaining what are the contractions in general terms, and coming to the conclusion that by understanding and seeing what Hashem did, we therefore should do the same. Contract and put aside our own desires, and even those needs that Hashem planted in us by nature. As we will see soon, like the nature of a person is to love his wife, to love his children. those are the things also that we have to make sure that they do not interfere in our service and devotion to God. And we'll explain it today a little later. Obviously, one should continue to love his wife and children, but how do we do it? How do we balance it in a way that the way Hashem wants it to be? So this is, let's delve in. We'll look inside in chapter 39 of the Tanya. Says the Alter Rebbe, "Hine now, af ki protei bechines hahester ve'helem oirein tzoiv baruch hu, beishtalshelus ha'olamis, ad shenivra olam hazeh hagashmi, otzmu misfoyer." This is the particular aspects, the details of the obscuring, the nature of the obscuring, of the concealment of this great light of the blessed Ein Sof. To explain this, to talk about this with all the descent, the chain-like descent of the worlds until this physical world was created, there was many, many, many contractions. It was not just one contraction. And it says, Otzmu misfoyer. They're too numerous to count. Also, uminim miminim shoinim. There are all many kinds and diverse types of contractions. Many, many different contractions have to be on each creature. Had this level, talking about the angels also. Many, many different levels of angels, endless numbers. And to the less spiritual, the more material world, there's endless contractions that Hashem, God, contracted His light. As it is known to those who taste of the tree of life. The tree of life is the Kabbalah, the teachings of the mystical part of the Torah. But, says the Alter Rebbe, in general, there are three types of contractions, general types. Ach derech klal, says the Alter Rebbe, shloisha minei tzimtzumim, atzumim klolim. Generally speaking, he says there are three levels of powerful and comprehensive contractions. And that is l'shloisha minei oilamis klolim, and this is each category consisting, he says, each category consisting of myriads upon myriads of particulars. And these are for three general worlds. What are the three worlds? We know, in general terms, we spoke about it many times, that in generally Kabbalah talks about the four worlds: the world of Atzilus, Bria, Yetzira, and Asiya, world of emanation, world of creation, world of formation, and the world of action. Now here it says that the three general contractions are to bring the worlds of Bria, Yetzira, and Asiya, the last three worlds. Why not the first world? It says, Ki olam Atzilus v'Elokus mamish. Because the world of Atzilus is pure godliness. It's godliness itself. Although in the Kabbalah does talk about also contractions before Atzilus, but compared to the Bria, Yetzira, Asiya, Atzilus, the world of Atzilus is considered the world of emanation. The word Atzilus has the word from Etzlo, which means near Him, by God. It is a world that godliness is revealed, although it has this, comes in the forms of the sephiris, the wisdom, understanding, knowledge, but it is all pure and connected with godliness. And in fact, talking about today, Lag BaOmer, it says Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, he's neshama, just like the neshama of Moshe Rabbeinu. And like the neshamas of the tzaddikim, the very few individual tzaddikim in each generation, the neshama is from Atzilus. And neshama comes straight from Atzilus, which is pure godliness. That's why they looked with the perspective of God. That's the way they saw the world, in a godly way. So that's why he doesn't mention here, he says, the general contractions is the contractions that come after the world of Atzilus to bring these three worlds, Bria, and then Yetzira, and then Asiya. Now, in order to create the world of Beria, which is neshamas, consists of the higher malachim, the higher souls and angels. Asher avidosam laHashem b'pchinas chochma bina das amislapshim b'hem, which their service of God is in the sphere of Chabad, chochma bina das, meaning the world of Bria is considered the world of the intellect. That they're enclosed in them, which means the godliness is revealed to them in an intellectual manner through the three intellectual faculties of Chachma, Bina, and Das. These are the three faculties, the godly faculties that shine from Atzilus into Beria. And the angels, the higher level of angels, who are in that level of intellectual connection with God, are in the world of Bria, and so too are neshamas, souls. And they, meaning the souls and the angels, they apprehend them and they receive influence from them, from the Chachma Bina Das. In order to do this, there necessarily preceded a powerful contraction as mentioned above. So there was a powerful contraction to bring to the world of Beria. So too, from Beria to Yetzira, from the world of Beria, of creation, to the world of formation, Yetzira represents the world of emotions. Beria is the world of intellect, and Yetzira is the world of emotions. So there too was also a powerful contraction to come from the world of Beria to the world of Yetzira. כי אויר מעט מזהיר המסלבש בעולם הבריאה עדיין הוא בבחינס אין סוף לגבי עולם היצירה. Because a minute portion of light which clothes itself in the world of Beria is still in a category of infinity in relation to the world of Yetzira. It is considered infinite. The world of Yetzira is so much more contracted. ואי אפשר להסלבש בוי אלו על ידי צמצום והלם. Therefore, it is unable to clothe itself in the world of Yetzirah except through a contraction and obscuration. It should be completely removing. And so too from the world of Yetzirah to the world of Asiya. From the world of Yetzirah, which is the world of emotions, to the world of action. An elaborate explanation of these three contractions is given elsewhere in order to make them more accessible to our poor intellect. Very, very limited understanding that us humans can understand in this concept of godliness. He says this is explained elsewhere. Here is just talking about it in general terms. Now, what is the purpose of all of this? What is the purpose of all of these contractions? All of these endless numbers of contractions and endless numbers of worlds within the worlds? Says the Alter Rebbe, the purpose of all of the contractions is this is in order to create the material human body. and the subjugation by man of the sitra achra, that the man should subjugate the sitra achra. What is the sitra achra? Literally means the other side, the side that is opposite of holiness. We need to subjugate it. And it should bring about the preeminence of the light supplanting darkness. Meaning, to see the benefit of the light, to see the light literally shines more when it comes out of darkness. The darkness brings out the light much more. That means when a person is here in this physical dark world, meaning spiritually, and you bring the mitzvahs and you subjugate the evil inclination right here, the neshama shines much more. And that is, when a person elevates his divine soul and his vivifying soul, and the garments of the soul, the garments being the thought, speech, and action, and all the powers of the body, everything the person elevates, Lashem levade. He elevates them only for Hashem. That means that God would be in every aspect of your life, not only when you go to the synagogue, not only when you sit and study Torah. Every aspect of your life becomes permeated with godliness. As mentioned earlier in length, mentioned above in length. For this is the purpose of the progressive descent of the worlds. That is, he explains that Hashem contracted his life so much with the endless numbers of contraction. To what? To get to us. So that we are able to bring the light through subjugating our self, our body, and everything. And now the Rebbe continues now. Now this is the lesson. This is the way when you think about all of this, it brings out in you returning love, reciprocation. As water, and as water reflects, as water mirrors the reflection of a face, says the Alter Rebbe, K'moy sha'Kadosh Baruch Hu kaviyachol, iniach v'silek letzad echad, derech mashlas oirei hagadol. Just like as God, as it were, laid down and set aside, figuratively speaking, his great light, abilti tachlis, the infinite light, the great and infinite light, ugnozoi veistirei begimel minetim tzumim shonim, and he concealed it and he hid it with all types with three different types of kinds of contractions. Why did he do it? Bishvil ahavas ha'odam ha'tachton le'ahalois le'Hashem. And all of this is because of his love for the lowly man, in order to raise him up to God. This is the love that Hashem has to us. He wants to bring us close to him. That caused the contractions. And although we know in general love is a form of expansion, love is giving, love is expansion. But here it says love causes contraction. So he says, Ki ahava doichekas habaso, for love impels the flesh. When a person has the love, you can push yourself and squeeze yourself to have somebody else with you. Alachas kamo vekamo, vekif lekiflaim le'en kates. How much more so, and an infinite number of times more, vekif lekiflaim, double and redoubled, and le'en kates, infinitely more so. Ki roi le'odam gam kein. It is fitting for a man also le'aniach ve'laziv kol ha'shaloi, to leave everything, that relinquish and set aside everything that he has, min nefesh v'ad basar, both spiritually and physically, u'lehafkir hakoil, and renounce everything. For what? Bishvil ledavka boy izborech v'dveika chasheka v'chafetza, in order to cleave to him with attachment, desire, and longing. V'lo yeshum meinei mibayis mechutz, without any hindrance, within or without, neither body nor soul. Lo guf v'lo nefesh, v'lo mamoin, and not money, v'lo isha ubanim, and not a wife and other children, to set everything aside. Now, what does that mean? So we said in the beginning of the class, we're going to explain this. What does it mean? You have to put everything aside, and the women, the wife, the children. Obviously, doesn't mean to neglect your wife and children. What it means is, as he's going to explain in tomorrow's class also, that Hashem created us and put in our nature to have love for a wife and love for children. It says, Kihu Oma Vayehi, he said and it be and was. Says the Gemara, this refers to the love to a wife, that a person, God created the nature to love someone and to build a family because of that, to be with someone. And he commanded, and it was, this was the children. So God gave us within the nature that should become our nature to love our wife, to love the children, to be with them and want to spend time with them and do everything for them. Now the question is, once God created this nature in us, we can do it as we can do it for godly reasons, and we can do it for selfish reasons. Because we are people of free choice. And the fact that we have the nature, and by nature we love it, so we want to do it what's good for us. So yes, of course, it is a commandment to care for the wife, or care for the children, but it should be done in a godly way. It should be done the way Hashem wants it, and because Hashem wants it, not because of your selfish reason, because it makes you feel good to have your children, which is beautiful. But if you do it for your selfish reasons, it can lead you in the wrong ways, and it can interfere you, and this can become also an excuse for not going to shul to daven, for not having a shear. Why? Oh, I love my wife. I need to care my wife or children. No, you're caring for yourself, not for your wife. You love yourself, not your children. Yes, of course, you love your children, but the love of your children is your love. It's something that you want for yourself. Here says the Alter Rebbe, when it comes to serve Hashem, you have to know to put those things aside. And sometimes we have to know, it's not easy to know whether it comes for you and it comes really caring for them. For that, the person needs to have a mentor. As the Rebbe says, "Asay lecha rav," have yourself a mentor. It should guide you how to set your day, and to see whether things that you think are important interfere in your life to serve Hashem. There has to be a balance. You have to serve Hashem. Everything is Hashem, and you put yourself aside, your own desires to love things that you love, money, love for your wife, love for your children that are your selfish things. Put them aside. Serve Hashem. That is, says the Alter Rebbe, that just like Hashem puts himself aside, contracts his great light, and he does it only what? Because he loves us here in this physical world. So too we return love to Hashem by putting aside our love and desires, and we do it for Hashem. This is the end of today's shir, and may Hashem help. We should have only good news, only simchas for us Am Israel. And feel free to share. And this is a big mitzvah. And invite other people. Should have only good news. A freiliche Lag Baimer and a good Shabbos. We'll see you, God willing, Sunday morning.